So this is Capsule 1 in the first mic that I modified, which was the £4 mic, and Capsule 1 was the £2 capsule. And that actually came directly on a microphone which had the TRRS socket straight on the end of it, so it was designed to plug straight into smartphones and stuff. I've got the Sony AX100 on like notch 1 on its input leveling. Its input leveling doesn't have numbers. It's basically got, I think, 18, 19, 20 notches, something like that. This is on the first notch, so this is actually telling me that this is mega sensitive as well, which is really good, because all that means is that if you're going to go close like this, then you're not over gaining anything at all at the camera, and as long as you don't overload the capsule, it's going to be great at the camera end. And then what that means as well, it's going to be great for noise as well. Unfortunately, the room's very lively, nothing I can do about that. It's an attic, there's no soft furnishings, I've got standing waves all over the place, and where I am here, I've actually got a propagation of crazy reflections going on as well. Yeah, but even if I use like a high-end hyper or super cardioid, I mean, I've got an MK860 there, and like they are very focused with their cardioid pattern. That's the same in here. It's ridiculous. There's just too many reflections going on. Okay, so this should give me an idea of how this sounds. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the foam filter on, see if there's any tonality change. I'll probably do a 1 to 10 count, and then I'll try it on a boom for a laugh, and then I'll go to mic 2. Okay, so now I've got the foam on, and I don't think it's going to change that much tonally. If you put it on a scope and stuff, then yeah, it's got, it will change. It's bound to. There is a form of obstruction between, my mouth or the voice or the sound source and the capsule. But I think just audibly, on just regular listening, I don't think it's going to kill the tone at all. Unlike, say, putting a dead cat on in certain scenarios where that can totally take out a load of your mid and high. I don't think this is going to do that much anyway. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'll just do a bit of a handling test on it. So, I mean, not that, anyone's going to be doing this while they're talking to the camera, but, I'm just kind of going way over the top here. And all I've done, I've just set the capsule in I've wrapped it in some foam to set it into the body. So not an over the top, just a bit of foam that I add to hand. So that will help a little bit with vibrations and whatnot. But as long as you hold the mic properly, it's fine. Anyway, this should give me an idea of how this Capsule 1 on the first configuration of the Xlr Handheld, how it sounds with the foam on. So I'll get on, do me count, and then I'll come over the top on the boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this is mic 1 again, or Capsule 1 in the first Xlr body, and it's coming in over the top in a boom style. Now it's just slightly there on the frame. I mean, if I was to, let's see, yeah, I'll kind of stoop down a little bit, and then what I'll do, I'll crop in now on the picture and do it more of a tight talking head shot. So that mic is like, kind of, it will be enough out of the frame by the time I've cropped it now for me to get an idea of whether or not it's useful to use as a slight boom. I've actually left the gain exactly the same as it was earlier on the previous handheld takes. The only thing I might do, I might push this up in post a little, just to see about bringing the level up. And at a push, it could be used as something to come over the top as well. Yeah, so I think this is probably enough for testing this bit now. So I think what I should do, I'll dig out Capsule 2, mic 2 as it were. I'll do some stuff indoors, and then if weather permitting, I'll jump outside. Because I think that's where they're really going to come into their own, is like as quick interview style stuff, handheld, outside. If I can find one of my mates and go for a pint, I'll grab one of my mates and do a little blag interview. Yeah, so that's probably enough for me to judge what it's doing coming in over the top now. Like I say, the mic's there. Yeah, I could position that better, do you know what I mean? But this was just a quick one for me to just see how it sounded coming in over the top. But you could definitely use it and crop it out or position it properly in the first place. Okay, so I'll just get on with 2 now. So this microphone is got Capsule 2 in it, which is the 99p capsule. And funny enough, this body, this actual like dynamic mic, was like 2 of them for £6, and they actually come with 2 XLR cables as well. Now them XLR cables were wired XLR one end and going to just like an unbalanced like 1/4 inch jack on the other. So what that's going to allow me to do for the likes of cameras and like anything kind of small portable devices that take a 3.5mm input, I'll just short out the cable left and right on a stereo jack, 3.5mm, and then reuse them cables as well. So realistically, I've got 2 decent cables out of that as well. Yeah, so basically, I've got the Sony is on like number 1, as it were, on its on like its input level. I think it's got like notches. I think maybe there's about 18, 19 notches. This is only on the first notch. Now I knew that the capsule was this sensitive anyway, but you know, it really helps so I can get the microphone, you know, kind of like this distance from my mouth and hopefully get a decent sound. Now the only thing is, in this room, it's I'm in an attic, which at the moment is basically bare, so there's no soft furnishings to absorb the reflections in the room, and there's a lot of standing waves knocking around, but also I think where I am here, there's a lot of propagation from different parts of the room and stuff, so it's pretty horrendous. Even like a proper focus cardio, the super or a hyper wouldn't get rid of this, I don't think. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just give it a bit of a plosive thing here. So P, plosive, and I give it a bit of a wind. P, plosive. So that was over the top. Now what I'm going to do is put this on, and then after I've done that, what I'll do, I'll do a quick count test 1 to 10 with and without the foam, see if we can hear any tonality difference in the count test, although we should be able to hear any tonality difference if I throw this on now. And then after that, I'll boom it, and then I'll think about going outdoors and then doing both mics outdoors as well. Okay, so this is now with the foam filter on, and I would definitely have to use this outside, but yeah, I'll just try it indoors anyway. Hopefully we don't notice so much tone difference. I mean, if you put it on a scope and stuff, there's bound to be something, but I just think, you know, using your ears probably isn't going to be that much tonality change in this. But like I say, this will help even just for doing like close micing like this, to help with like plosives, P, plosive, P. I mean, I'm pushing that a bit more than what I would do anyway. But then, like I say, once I go outside, that's where the foam filter will actually come in like really handy. Okay, so this is probably, you know, enough like this. So what I'll do, I'll get on with the count test, and then I'll do a boom type shot, and then I'll proceed outside and do some more things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is capsule 2 again on the second silver body that cost £3, and it's up here. So I'll just crop in now and do like a close-up, just to see, you know, how well this microphone could be used, you know, on a boom for doing like, you know, kind of like talking head pieces and stuff, which could actually also be really good for vlogging, or, you know, like just like narrative stuff that you're doing, or, you know, just pieces to camera, whatever. And again, you know, it's not going to sound so good in this room, and especially at this point where I've actually got it in the room, because like I said earlier, the room is bare and there's no soft furnishings in here at all to absorb the reflections, and where I am here just happens to be really bad, where the actual all the reflections are propagating around this area. So this is pretty nasty. And also, like I said before as well, even if this were, you know, a proper like focus cardioid, like a super or a hyper or something like that, in a room like this, it's not really gonna kind of get, you know, you're not gonna really get much out of it. You're always going to get a lot of the room in it. And the other thing as well, I'm still on the same input on the Sony. I mean, I may raise this in post, I'm not too sure, but it's literally on the first full notch up out of about whatever it is, 16, 17 notches. So even at this distance above me, it could be useful, and it's still very sensitive. All right, so I'm outside now, as I can see. It's a little bit windy, and I would always have the foam on anyway, so yeah, I'll leave it on because it is windy. Actually, it's getting a bit gusty, so hopefully this is handling it. I'm just having a look at my levels. Yeah, I've left the mic on 1 again, so the input gain is on 1, and I'm on microphone 1 or capsule 1, and I'm on a ridiculously long cable as well, and I don't seem to be getting any interference, no RF interference, nothing. Now the beauty of having this long cable is you can do this, so I can actually go walking away for quite some distance. Oh yeah, that's really far. Yeah, so I could actually walk away for some distance, away from the away from the camera. So obviously it's not as it's not going to be the same as using a radio system, but for like a very cheap cable, cheap mic and all the rest of it, you can actually get some distance away from the away from the camera with it. So yeah, hopefully this is sounding okay. I won't know about this until I get back in and listen back to it. But if this all sounds good, then yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do a full-blown video with all this stuff. Now what I'll do, I'll just throw it onto a mic 2 or Capsule 2. So the exact same scenario, but again this time I'm on mic 2 or Capsule 2. The wind actually seems to have picked up a bit more as well, so this is going to be a good test for me to see how this wind, or how this microphone configuration handles a fairly stiff breeze as well. I mean, this is the kind of breeze where if I was out with, say, one of my shotguns and it didn't have, say, some fairly hefty filtering on, I would definitely be getting a lot of wind rumble on the Capsule. I had a quick listen as well to some of the takes just before it come out, and I'm not too sure, but I think maybe Capsule 2's got a little bit more kind of mid-high in it. Maybe 1 has got a bit more presence at the low end. Maybe, I'm not too sure. I'll have to have a good listen. But yeah, I think Capsule 2, this one, might have a little bit more high end to it and stuff. Now, I'm not going to do any of the other tests that I've done earlier on because they're just not necessary, because I've done all that stuff indoors. In fact, I know what I'll do. Let me just... Right, so I'm holding the mic just above me, as if like well, hold on, I'm just trying to get it to peep out of the frame. So yeah, I mean, if I was framing this properly, I'd probably frame myself a bit higher into the frame. Yeah, but this just gives us another idea of a different type of configuration outside, which is Capsule mic 2, as it were, on a boom and then coming in over the top, which again, it could work for certain things. And because we're not getting some of the stuff that we would get indoors, like them reflections and whatnot, it may work a little bit better outside as a boom operated mic. In fact, if I bring it a bit closer, so where it is there, in fact, I'll crop this in post so I'm filling the frame, but where it is there, that might be more like where I'd put a boom for something like this. Okay, so that's enough of this one. I'll get onto the GoPros. And just for a quick comparison, I've just flipped over onto the internal mics as well, or the internal stereo mic. Again, I've not got too much time left on the system here, so I'll just run for as much as I can on this. The wind's dropped down now, but it'll be interesting to see what will happen if the wind does pick up a little bit, and just to see how this handles the wind compared to the cheap mic. But obviously, I can't be walking away this far away from it without it dropping right off. And I just wouldn't use them anyway. I wouldn't use the stereo set, and I wouldn't use the internals usually, although they can sound okay in certain situations. Here I don't think it would, especially once the wind starts picking up, which ironically it's calmed down now after I've took the mic out. So Capsule 1 mic 1 for the GoPro. So yeah, this is handheld GoPro. Again, I'm just gonna have to just kind of like talk just so I've got something to listen to when I get back. I haven't really got anything else technically to say to myself or to prompt myself about any of the things that I'm doing, because I think I've probably said it all. Although I would imagine though that both of these handheld mics are quite possibly going to come into their own maybe outside, especially with the foam on, and because there's no reflections as there are indoors. Or if in fact if you were indoors in a different type of location where the room ambience and the acoustics are a little bit better, then maybe it's not that bad. Let's see. So yeah, I'm about an arm's length away, which I think distance wise is probably thereabouts right for like vloggy type stuff or selfie type stuff. And again, the wind's picked right up. And again, the other thing is as well, because I can move about with this mic, and I don't know off the top of my head what scenarios I could think of where you'd want to do this, but it may well be that you would do this to interview or something, or I don't know, or you might be in front, in fact you might be framing something in your field of view with the GoPro, and then you might want to kind of like come in and narrate about it, and like, oh, look at all this nice wild grass, oh, and there's some nice weeds there that are flowering. I don't know, could be anything, but yeah, so I'm just playing for time here to give myself some dialogue to listen back to when I get back. So again, mic 1 handheld, and now I'll throw it on the top. So again, mic 1 on top of the GoPro. I don't know if I've got the GoPro at the right height here. Like I say, I've not come out with me full kind of kit and caboodle rig for the GoPro, so I can't really monitor that much. But yeah, I'm a full arm's length away from the lens, and this would be typical again of a selfie type distance and whatnot. And again, blowing quite considerably. I just don't get it, like when I do like a test where I want the wind to wreck something, it drops off, because it just dropped off when I did it on the AX100, which is a bit mad. And again, what I'll do, I'll walk off a little bit, so I'm probably about 4 foot away, something like that, away from the lens. I mean, I'm hoping I haven't dipped the what's the name, the microphone into the frame again, like I had done earlier with I think was it the ME66. And then I'll just come back off a bit more, maybe about 6 feet away. But again, with the GoPro, you just wouldn't be coming this far off, and I don't think with any type of mic you'd do that. I've tried these kind of distances with me ME66, and while it's doable, I don't think you would, because the other problem is, because it's got such a wide field of view, at a relatively short distance from a normal camera, on a GoPro with such a wide field of view, you're miles away. And then I'll come right out. In fact, this is probably, I don't know, 12-15 feet away from the lens. So I don't know how that's going to sound or how much it's going to pick up, especially, you know, with the wind and whatnot. So I'll just come walking back into it as I'm talking, and as I get back, I'll kind of stop when I'm back at selfie distance again. Okay, and if I've got enough, I'm trying to work out if I've got enough memory left on the card, I'll go for an internal mic on this now as well. Oh, actually, wait there, there's an aeroplane up there, so we should be able to hear it, but it'll be interesting to see if we can hear me more than the aeroplane, because again, it's an Omni mic. In fact, it's an Omni mic. I'm now directly right behind the GoPro, so we'll definitely hear me. We won't hear me quite as well as what I was at the front, but because it is an Omni microphone, it is going to pick up all kinds, which in certain instances might be good. So I'll have a quick go at the internal mic if I've got enough time left on the card. Okay, so I'm just going to have to let this play out. I might have about 30 seconds or so. So again, full arm's length away. Again, the wind's kind of died off a little bit. Maybe a little bit more wind will come back into it before I finish, or before the card runs out. Give us an example of like how distorted it gets, and you know, and it does it quite quickly as well on the internal mics with the GoPro. It'll distort very quickly, you know, and you'll kind of lose a lot because of that. It's only dropped down to a mild breeze, maybe enough though for it to pick up, and this is going to run out, so I'll stop it.